My name's Channing Miller.
I'm Kiper.
I'm Bode Richard.
Microplastics are tiny particles made from plastic that are found in day-to-day consumer items that pollute the ecosystem and get into our bodies. Research has recently shown that humans have been unknowingly ingesting these particles for years. Microscopic pollution has been detected in human organs and bloodstreams, causing health and environmental risks. Through research, we have learned and discussed the dangers of microplastics and the need for immediate action. Consumer products containing microplastics are a significant threat to the ecosystem and health of communities. Banning these products is a step in preventing further harm and damage to the environment along with lifetimes.
Microplastics in consumer products are a mainstream problem because they are found in the air we breathe in our bodies. They are found in the food and water we consume. In a recent study, it is specified that people consume an average of 39,000 to 52,000 microplastic particles per year. Due to their high composition rate, widespread presence in the ecosystem, they pose a serious threat to general health, wildlife, and ecosystem. When big plastics break, these tiny plastic particles are frequently found in consumer goods, and they cause an extreme risk and threat to the marine environment. The finding of microplastics in human tissue, blood, lungs, and even the placenta promote concerns about their long-term health and impact. According to Microplastics, a real global threat in environment and food safety, a state-of-the-art review, the effects of ingesting microplastics have been identified and classified by researchers into 3 stages. The first is related to the blockage and damage of the digestive system. The second refers to the release of toxic chemicals into the body. And this third stage is represented by the substances that are produced in the organs and tissues. Microplastics are connected in studies that damage the brain, cause diabetes, liver disease, and intestinal conditions. Breathing in these particles increase the opportunity for lung disorders. Microplastics cause a serious worldwide risk to the public's food security and the environment. Sea life frequently eats these particles because they find it suitable as food, which raises the death rate, according to the state-of-the-art review. These plastics lead to malnutrition and blockages. Microplastics also cause serious damage by introducing toxins into the food supply, which make it a transmitter for heavy metals and frequent pollutants.
The banning of microplastics and switching to environment-friendly materials should occur because we would experience less environmental damages and health hazards. The emergency regarding microplastics has become a rising environmental problem due to their small size, which measures under 5 millimeters. Several sources of pollution have shared that plastic waste, along with fibers from certain personal care items, have been known to release contaminants throughout our ecosystem. This has resulted in countless animal injuries from contaminated food sources and possible human hazards. For these reasons and many more, it has been decided that immediate action should be taken to ban microplastics and ensure protections for our ecosystems. The way this should be done is simple. Governments must introduce legislation that prohibits microplastics from being present in consumer items such as scrubs, toothpaste, shower gels, and etc. The Microbead-Free Waters Act was passed in the U.S. in 2015, banning microbeads from self-care products through preventing them from being released into our ecosystems. This model demonstrates how other countries should adopt this act as well. The New York Post states that microplastics are everywhere, but changing our simple everyday products and habits can make a world of difference. Microplastics can occur in a wide variety of things. A few examples are beauty products, cleaning supplies, and especially food we eat. The presence of microplastics have been widely reported in our major bodies of water, such as oceans, rivers, lakes, and the Arctic region. Studies by Bode confirm that marine life consumes these harmful particles due to the mistaking them for food. Both fish and marine mammals suffer from the unfortunate occurrence. Physical blockages and injuries combined with the poisoning of toxic chemicals along all animals that ingest the microplastics, no matter their size. The human food supply is now contaminated by microplastic. Scientists have discovered that due to these microplastics being most prevalent in bodies of water, a lot of the seafood we eat contain them alongside the water in drink and table salt. The World Economic Forum says that health researchers are still researching the full impact of microplastics on human health. We must take the necessary changes now to keep these effects from worsening. The microplastic bans would help to protect the environment and lower public health threats. A ban requires the inclusion of every potential effect, product, and well-designed enforcement strategies. Although it can make a huge difference in the health of our environment, the big question is, how would this help and how much of a difference would it make? Decreasing microplastic in consumer products allows government to lower the need to release plastic in aquatic environments that contain our food sources. Personal items containing microbeads have managed to escape the pipeline waste processing system, resulting in the crowding major bodies of water. The prohibition of these products would help decrease the flow of the harmful plastics and minimize threats to the food chain. Due to their severe danger to animals and humans, the rising need of banned microplastics has become essential for the environmental protection. Legislation aimed at removing microplastics from the consumer items is crucial for the safety of organisms and human wellness. Plastic production controls waste and recycling investments. Research and influence on the countries will help minimize the amount of microplastics in our day-to-day lives. These implemented measures will create a sustainable environment for the future, but change must start now.
Banning microplastics in consumer products seems like an obvious step forward protecting the environment and public health, but the reality is more complicated. While the dangers of microplastic pollution are well documented, an immediate ban presents significant economic, practical, and regulatory challenges. Industries would face substantial financial burdens, viable alternatives would be limited, and enforcement would be difficult on a global scale. One of the most pressing concerns is the economic fallout of banning microplastics. Many industries, including cosmetics, textiles, and packaging, rely on these materials to enhance product performance and keep costs low. According to the European Chemical Agency, eliminating microplastics from consumer products could cost companies as much as $20 billion over the next 2 decades. These expenses would likely be passed on to consumers, raising prices on everyday goods. Beyond corporate costs, a ban could also lead to job losses, particularly in manufacturing sectors that depend on plastic production. Companies would be forced to restructure their supply chains, invest in alternative materials, and comply with new regulations, all of which could strain businesses and economies. For developing nations that rely heavily on plastic manufacturing, the financial consequences could be especially severe. While reducing microplastic pollution is necessary, policymakers must consider the broader economic impact of an outright ban. Even if industries are willing to transition away from microplastics, finding suitable replacements is a major challenge. These tiny particles are used for their durability, lightweight properties, and affordability. While biodegradable natural alternatives exist, they are often costly, less effective, or degrade only under specific conditions. Research published in Nature Sustainability indicates that some biodegradable plastics still contribute to microplastic pollution, undermining their supposed environmental benefits. Additionally, large-scale production of natural alternatives could create new environmental problems. For example, replacing synthetic microbeads in cosmetics with natural exfoliants like crushed seeds or minerals might seem like a solution, but it would require increased agricultural production. This in turn could lead to deforestation, soil depletion, and habitat destruction. Without a clear, sustainable replacement for microplastics, banning them outright could create as many problems as it solves. Even if a ban were implemented, ensuring compliance would be a logistical nightmare. Microplastics are embedded in thousands of products, making regulation complex and enforcement resource intensive. Governments would need to establish clear guidelines, conduct extensive testing, and monitor supply chains to ensure that banned materials are not being used. These measures require significant funding and manpower, both of which may be in short supply. Moreover, not all countries would enforce a ban equally. Nations with weaker environmental policies might continue producing and exporting products containing microplastics, undermining global efforts. This could lead to unregulated imports, black market sales, and uneven enforcement, banning far less effective than intended. Without international cooperation and a strong regulatory framework, microplastics would likely remain in circulation despite legal restrictions.
Microplastics are a rapid growing threat to both the environment and everyone's health because of the day-to-day consumer products. We have discussed the problem from the contamination of the environment to the health risk to the solution to this problem. While banning microplastics presents challenges, there are long-term benefits for public health, marine life, and the environment. Microplastics already exist in our body's food and environment, which lead to health risks and threaten the ecosystem. Although industries may face obstacles, scientists suggest that adaptations can remove these obstacles. Government should prefer environmental protection and health by creating effective laws, investing in research, and promoting safe alternatives. Time to work is now for both the current and future generations. Thank you.